do is go to edit. When you go to edit, there you have a query properties. In the query properties, when you see, you have a lot of options. Now your universe name is eFashion. Your query is taking data from eFashion universe. This is your query name and your universe name. And if you want to restrict a report for 2000 records, that time simply you need to enable max zeros retrieved. There you can put 2000. That means the report will maximum retrieve 2000. And if you want to give a time interval, if you want to give a timeout error for the report for 3 minutes, that time you need to enable maximum retrieval time. If you put 180 seconds here, if the end user is running a report, the report will run up to 3 minutes. If it is taking lot of time, then it will throw in a timeout error for them after 3 minutes. Maximum the end user can run this report up to 3 minutes. And the report, now when you run, if there is a duplicate data in the backend, the report will fetch the duplicate data. If you want to eliminate the duplicate data, please remove this. If you disable this, that time it will eliminate the duplicate data. It will display only distinct records in the report. And if you want to display, if there is a blank records in the backend, if you want to display that blank records in the report, you need to enable retrieve empty rows option. If you disable retrieve empty rows option, that time the end user cannot see the blank records in the report. And security, I told you, if you want to disable a edit query option for the end user, that time you need to disable this. When you disable this, that time the end user cannot see the edit query option. For example, you created the report and you exported the report to the Raven server, and one of the developer accessed your report from which client, still they cannot click on edit. The reason is you disable this allow other users to edit all queries option and exported the report. Now that will give only option for you to edit query. It won't give option for all other users to edit query. There's a way you can set your properties in the query properties. Now you are in query panel. In the query panel you have a query properties. This is your query properties. There you can set your required query properties option. Limits and all you can set. Okay, now that's good. Leave about that. Okay, now I hope you are comfortable. You can create one report with the multiple queries, with the multiple blocks, multiple tabs, and you can export to the server, and people can access from BI Launchpad, and you can set different query properties in the query panel based on the requirement that we discussed. Now let's start with the filters today. Filters. I just want to explain about the filters. In Vivo, I'm just trying to create a new report. If you want to create a new report, just click on new, create new document. That time it will ask you to select the required source. I want to create on universe. Later we'll see how to create a report on Excel and Bex and all. Okay, just click on OK. When you click on OK, it will display again the universes there in the server. Click on select. Now I'm just trying to create a report with year wise, quota wise, sales revenue, prompt on. You know what do you mean by static and what do you mean by dynamic. If you type a constant here, that is a static, report always run for that particular value. If you want to make this report as a dynamic, you just need to go to there. You need to enable prompt. When you enable prompt here, report whenever you run, it will ask you to enter the input. Based on your input, report will run for that particular values. Now anyway, you selected year, enlist, prompt. And again, if you want to add a new query, click on add query. When you click on add query, there you have a from universe. Then again select the required universe. You selected required universe. Now I am trying to create a report with the state, city, sales revenue, prompt on year. Prompt on year. You just need to select prompt. Okay, you selected. Now you have two queries. Query 1 is year, comma, quarter, comma, sales revenue, prompt on year. Query 2 also, query 2, state, comma, city, comma, sales revenue, prompt on year. Now the question for Shiva sir, or the question for John sir. John sir, are you there? Hello? John sir, are you there? Hello? Vishwa, are you there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, are you there? Now, see, you have two queries and each query have the same prompt. Each query have a same prompt. You have two queries and each query have the same prompt on here. When I run queries, how many times it will ask input? Hello?
Yeah, 2 times, sir.
I am running two queries at a time. It will ask 2 times?
Only one.
Let me check. I am running queries. How many times it's asking the input? When you see your prompt summary, you have only one right. It will ask only one time. If you enter 2004, if you click on OK, now it will create how many blocks? 2 blocks, but each block will take data only for 2004. But my requirement is that need to ask 2 times. Query 1 I want to run for 2004-2005 and query 2 I want to run for 2006. Then tell me how you give that option for the end user. The end user want to run this report for 2 input parameters. Query 1 for 1 input and query 2 for another input. John sir, are you there? It's asking 1 time now. I want to submit 2 times. 2 separate inputs for 2 separate queries. Are you there? John sir, are you there? This is the case.
Sir.
What you need to do is go to data access and edit.
Muted.
Definite question. Most of the interviews they'll ask this question. When you go to edit query, edit, there you have a query 1, query 2. In query 1 you have a same prompt and query 2 also you have a same prompt. Now I want to maintain same prompt, but simply I am changing my prompt text message in query 1. See, I just changed the prompt text message. In query 1 I have a prompt text message year and query 2 I have a prompt text message enter values per year. Now when you run queries, when you click on run queries, this time it lasts 2 times. See, query 1 is asking for year. I am just submitting 2004, 2005 and query 2 is asking enter values per year. This I am submitting for 2006. When you click on OK, now it will run 2 queries, but query 1 will run for 2004, 2005 and query 2 it will run for 2006. This we call as a synchronization. This concept you call as a synchronization. You can submit different inputs for different queries. When you create a prompt on same object with the different prompt text messages. If you create a one report with the 2 queries with the same prompt and with the same prompt text messages, when you run that report, it will fire 2 queries at a time. It will ask you to submit only 1 input value. That time 2 queries will run with the same input value. Two queries will run with the same input values. Yes, that is fine. You created two reports with the two different prompts and two different prompt text messages. That time the end user can submit two separate inputs for two separate queries, and report will run for two different blocks with the two different datas. That is fine. And next question. I am creating a new report. On top of universe, select universe, click on OK. It will display the available universes. Select the required universe. Click on select. Now I am creating a report year wise, quarter wise sales revenue. Prompt on year, prompt on year, prompt on quarter, prompt on quarter also. Then tell me, Shiva sir, are you there?
Unmuted.
Are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm running a query now. I'm running a query. Now tell me, it asking year first, then quarter next. But my customer is asking they want to see quarter first and year next. They want to submit a input quarter first, then year next. They want to see the order of the prompt quarter first, then year next. Then tell me how you change the order of these prompts.
I think so. You have to swap it in the filter area.
Okay, sure. I just swap. Now quarter is first, the next year. Then when you run a query, still it's asking year first, then quarter next. Hello?
Good question. I'm not able to figure out. I don't know where exactly is the properties that needs to be set.
Okay. The thing is, the prompt order you cannot change in the query filters. Whatever the order you put in the query filters, it cannot follow that order. First time, whatever the order you created in the query filters, that order the report will take always. So these all you can figure out in the prompt properties, not in the filter pane, not in the result objects pane. If you want to change the order of these prompts, you need to go to query properties. There you have a prompt order. You can change your order. Here I selected quarter first, the next year. Click on OK. Here if you want, you can change order of the prompt. Year first, quarter next. But in the prompt order I put quarter first, then year next. If you run a query, this time it will ask you to enter quarter first, then year next.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Okay. Now you can submit your input for the quarter first, then select year and then select your years whatever you required. Click on OK. Report will run for that particular year and that particular quarters. This is a way you can. Okay. Now anyway, I talked about in the edit. I talked about two kind of filters. Number one is called as a static and number two is called as a dynamic. Static means when you create a prompt with the input as a stat constant, that time whenever the end user run a report, the report will not ask them to submit input, always it run for that values. When you make a prompt as a dynamic, when you make a condition, when we make a filter as a prompt, that means dynamic. If user clicks on refresh, every click it will ask them to enter submit input values. They can submit input values. And the next question, I remove the prompt quarter. I am running a query. Now I run the query. Now when you see here, I have not selected any values. I have not selected any values. This time when you see, this OK is disabled. This OK is disabled. That means you make a prompt, you are running a query. Now it's asking you to submit an input for a year. The mandatory now is you need to submit any one value for a year. If you submit 2004, the report will run for 2004. But my end user is asking, boss, I have 1,000 years. If I am not submitting any value for the prompt, that time still give me a OK option. When I click OK without passing any value, that time please run report for all values. The question is clear? Shiva sir. Now, if you want to run for all values, then tell me what you can do here. Shiva sir, are you there?
But I'm stuck up. I'm not able to figure out.
Now the question is, I want to run all values for this report. If you want to run all values for the report, that time you need to select all values and submit for the input. But I don't want to select. Today I have a 3 values, I can submit, I can see the data. But my customer is asking, no. If I want to run for all values, that time I don't pass any submit input. Simply give me option to click. That time report need to run for that values. That option you don't have in R2. That option they give in R3 and R4. That prompt you call as an optional prompt. Sometimes they'll ask how you create a prompt as an optional prompt. That time you need to explain. First you need to make a prompt. Then later you need to go to prompt properties. There you have an option called as the optional prompt. When you enable optional prompt, click on OK. When user runs a query, till if they are not submitting any value, or my end user is not submitting any value, till the OK option is enabled. If user clicks on OK, they are not submitting any value, the report still running for all values there in the backend. Again, if they want, they can click refresh and they can submit a required input. If they run a report for the required input, it will run for that value. If they are not submitting any value, report will run for all values. That we call as an optional prompt. If they want to use, they can use. If they don't want, they don't submit any input. That time report will run for all. But that's good. Now you give an option for them to run a query without submitting any input. If they are not submitting any input, you are running for all values. But my customer is asking, no. If I am not submitting any value, by default I need to run for 2006. If I am not submitting any value, that time report need to run for 2006. If I am submitting any value, that time report need to run for that value. Whatever submitted, that value, for that value I need to run a report. If I am not submitting any value, that time the results need to display only for 2006. Now when you make a prompt as an optional prompt, if you run a report, if you are not submitting any input, it will run for all values, right? No, I don't want to run for all values. That time I need to run for 2006. That is a case. You need to go to edit. In the prompt properties, you need to set a prompt as a default. There you need to select 2006. 2006. Click on OK. Click on run query. By default it will be selected 2006. If we click on OK, it will run for 2006. See, when you click on refresh, if still end user want to selected this, click on OK, report will run for all values. But by default, when you run a report, the report is selected 2006 as a default. They will ask us to submit 2006 as a default. When they click refresh, that time I told you in the prompt properties, you just need to enable set default and submit 2006 here. By default, if the end user run a query, it will be selected 2006. They can run for 2006. Okay, that is fine. Now the next option. I am running a query. My end user can submit an input in 2 ways. One way is they can type a value here. They can type a value here and submit. Second way is they can select from the list.
Muted.
They can select from the list. Now my requirement is, my customer is asking, no, don't display type a value. Give me only the option to select only from the list. Don't give a chance for the customer to type a value. If they type a value, there is a chance to submit a wrong input. That time report will throw wrong errors. Report will display the wrong results. That time they will ask us, please hide type a value text box and give me only the option to select from the list. That time what you need to do is, in the prompt properties, you need to select only from list option. If you select only from list option, click on OK. When you run a query, report will not display type a value. Now the customer can select only from list. They can run a report. They cannot type a value. That option you disable for the end user. And again, my customer is asking, no, give me type a value text box and disable list. Hide a list only for this report. They want to hide a list for this report. Just they want to give a chance for them to submit by typing a value in the type a value text box. That time, go to edit query. In the prompt properties, you need to disable prompt with the list of values option. You disable prompt with the list of values option. This time click on OK. That means you set a prompt properties as prompt with list of values. You disabled. Run query. This time the report, let me check. Prompt, this also I disable. This also I disable. Prompt with the list of values I disable. Click on OK. Run query. Now there is no list of values. See, when you see here, there is no list of values. This time only you can select 2005 and you can submit, but there is no list of values. Now the customer can only type under submit. The report will run only for that particular typed values. That means you can give whatever the options they required in the prompt. That all you need to set in the prompt properties. This prompt properties option you don't have in BO XI R2. That options they give only since R3. In R3 we have the prompt properties. In R4 also you have a prompt properties. That is your prompt and conditions. If you make a filter with the static values that you called as the conditions. If you make a prompt as a dynamic, a filter as a dynamic, that we called as the prompted conditions, prompts. These both are for restricting data while executing query on the database. It will fetch only the required data based on your filter or based on your prompt, whatever you created in the query filters. Now my next requirement is, that means you can restrict data in two ways. One way, please make a static filter in the query filters, or second way, please make a dynamic filters, that is a prompt, and as end user clicks on refresh, each refresh, if they have a dynamic, it will ask them to enter an input. Based on their input, report will run for that values. If you make a static, whenever they click a refresh, always the report will run for the static value whatever you submitted. That constant value they need not to submit each and every time. If you make a filter as a dynamic, that report you call as a on-demand report. Why you call as on-demand report? You make a dynamic filter in the query filters. The user is running always, each refresh, it is asking for them to enter input. If they have entered input as a 2006, that is their demand, they want to see 2006 data, that time report is fetching for 2006 data. That means they can run a report on demand based on their requirement. But when you make a filter as a static, whenever they refresh, always they will see only one kind of results, but not based on their demand. Don't confuse. If they requested to create on-demand dynamic dashboard, that time you need to create a report with the prompt values. Okay, that is fine. Now next I want to explain how to make a filters in the report level. That's fine. You run a report. you run the report. Now report is displaying 2005 quarter-wise sales. Now my requirement is I want to create a same block in one more block with the same data. That time what you need to do is, if you want to create a one more block in the same report, you can create in two ways. With the same data, I want to create a second block with the same data. That time go to report elements. There you have a table. Just take a table into the same report. Then you can drag and drop here into this block. Yes, I dragged and drop here into this block. Quarter also, if you want to drag and drop, please drag and drop. Quarter also you drag and drop. And if you want to take a sales revenue, please take a sales revenue into this side. So now, and if you want to remove this particular column, right click. There somewhere you have a remove column. Or if you want, you can click on delete. There you have a remove column. Just remove the column. It removed the column. Now we have a two blocks. Block 1 with the year-wise, quarter-wise sales revenue. Block 2 also you have a year-wise, quarter-wise sales revenue. Now my requirement is I want to filter out data only for block 1 but not for block 2. Now my requirement is, in block 1 I want to show quarter 1, quarter 4 data. Block 2 I want to show all data, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But in block 1 I want to display only quarter 1, quarter 4 data. That time tell me how you hide a data only for block 1 but not for block 2. If you make a filter in the query level, it will reflect for both the blocks. The reason is both the blocks taking data from one query. Now I don't want to apply a filter for all blocks. I want to apply filter only for one block. That time you cannot put a filter in the query. That time you need to put a filter once you run the query. You run the query. Now you are trying to put a filter for the required block. There is a case what you need to do is in format or sorry in analysis, there is an option called as a filter. When you click filter, it will add a filter pane. If you want to apply filter only for block 1, please select block 1. Then you need to go to, if you want to make a filter on block 1, please select block 1 here, and then you need to click on add filter. If you want to make a filter on quarter, please select quarter. Then if you submit Q1, Q4, click on OK. This time when you see block 1 will display only Q1, Q4. Block 2 will display Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That means if you want to apply a filter only for one block you can, or if you want to apply a same filter for both the blocks, that time what you need to do is click on filter. Just you need to select your report 1, not block 1, block 2. Select report 1, add filter, select quarter, click on OK, submit Q1, Q4. This time when you see the filter is replicated for both the blocks. That we called as the global filter. This you call as the global filter. When you apply a filter for one block, that we called as a block level filter. When you apply a filter for both the blocks, that we call as a global filter. In the report level, we can create a two kind of filters. One filter is a block level filter. Second filter we call as the global filter. Now my requirement is, my customer is asking to display all negative values in one block, all positive values in another block, all zeros into in another block. Then tell me how you create that report. Shiva sir, the question for you. I need a 3 blocks. One query 3 blocks. In block 1 I want to see only negative values. Block 2 I want to see positive values. Block 3 I want to see only zeros.
In that case, you have to have three blocks basically. And in the filter level, not in the
Exactly.
global. It's not in the global filter. It's in the block filter.
Exactly. Same questions they will ask in the interview. They just try to confuse. That is the case. What you need to do is run a query without any prompt, without any filter. Once you run the query, it will create a one black and make three blacks with the same data, and go to filters pane and apply a filter for the black one is where sales revenue less than 0. That means it will give a negative values, and black 2 you need to put greater than 0, and black 3 you need to put a filter equal to 0. Negative, positive, 0. I want to display blank values. Then tell me how you display blank values for that particular black. In Vivo, there is an option called as is blank. When you see in the filters pane, if you want to if you want to display only blanks in the black one, select black one. Or if you want to display blanks for the black 2, please select black 2. Add filter and sales revenue. This is an option called as, in the operator you called as the is blank, is null, is null. This time report will try to run only for is null. I don't have any null values, that's why black 2 is displaying no data, because I don't have a nulls. You are trying to display, you are asking you to display only nulls. There's a way you can create. This is the black level and global level filters. Okay, that means you can restrict data in two ways. One way is the query level, second way in the report level. Query level, again you have two filters. One is static, second one is dynamic. Dynamic you call as a prompt. Again in the prompt you have an optional prompt, default prompts, prompt without list of values, prompt with the list of values, prompt without text box, input text box. That all you can set in the properties of the prompt. Static means you created filter, you submitted some constants for the filter. Whenever user run report, always run for that values. Second, in the report level, we have two kind of filters: black level filter, global filter. Black level filter means it's replicate only for one black. Global filter means it replicate for all the blacks there in the report. Now, my next question is, I want to have a black, there I have a positive values, I have a negative values. In the black I have a positive values, negative values. I want to calculate sum of only negative values. Tell me how you calculate only sum of negative values? Siva sir. The question is very clear.
We can create a variable as sum.
How you
There is
create a
one
variable?
option. Pardon?
Can you try that? Can you try today and can you show tomorrow?
Yeah,
I need a.
the other one is there is a sum option for this particular what do you call there is some option. There is an option where you can calculate. Because I'm totally not familiar with BO4. I'm
No. In R3, there is no difference between R4 and R3. Only few options will be in R4. The few options is you can take a data from different data sources. In R3, you can take only data from Universe or personal data file. But in R4, they gave a flexibility to take data from Universe, Vex, Analyzer, Text, Excel, and different data sources. But when you see the formatting and all the features, whatever there in the report level, all are same.
Yeah, there is a sum in the functions. You have sum.
Yeah, you applied this sum. Yeah,
You can-
I hope
you
you
can-
know how to apply sum. Applying sum is, no. If you go to format, go to sum 8, you have a formulas. Then let me check that.
Then you have mistake of-
Exactly, sorry.
on the right hand side you see functions.
Yeah, you can see the functions.
And if
Here you
want
can
sum,
see the functions. Let me Let me take this bar into, here you have a sum. You can apply sum. You can see the sum. So it will add a sum here. It will add a sum. But
Yeah.
my question is, I want to aggregate only negative values, not positive values. In the black, I have a positive, I have a negative.
When you have 3 blocks,
No. I don't want 3 blocks. I want only one block. In the same block, I have a positive, negative, zeros. But I want to show only sum of negative values. But remaining I don't want. Remaining just display. But sum you need to display only for negative values. The question is clear?
we have to have 3 blocks basically. Am I right?
No, I don't want to 3 blocks. I want only one block. In the block, I want to display positive, negative as well as 0. But the sum I want only for negative. And I need to name that as a negative
Then
sum.
you have to use a where condition in that.
Where you can write where. Where is only for
That is
records.
what is
You cannot, if you put where condition, Sir, Shiva sir,
Yeah.
if you put where condition for any query, for example, you write where condition, where the sales revenue less than 0, that time it will filter out, it will display only negative, it won't display positive. If you want to display two, positive or negative results you cannot. But here the question is you need to display both. Positive you need to display, negative you need to display, 0 also you need to display. If you put where condition will eliminate the unsatisfied conditions. If that's the case, you need to go to if condition. You need to write a if can throw two kind of results, either positive or negative, both. The where condition will give only satisfied results.
You're talking about if and else condition, right?
Exactly.
If
Yes,
it is
you write a if condition. You write a if condition. Sum of sales revenue if sales revenue less than 0. That's your condition, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you write. Still it will display negative symbol. I want to make that as a positive symbol.
That's absolute you have to use.
Exactly. This is a operator called as the absolute. That will make your negative as a positive. Okay? Okay. That is, these all questions they asked in the interview. These are very important. Question number 1. They'll ask you how you disable edit query option. This option they'll ask us to disable for the end users. The time you need to go to prompt, you need to go to query properties. You need to go to query properties. Please, this is very important. You need to go to query properties. There you need to enable this. You need to disable this. Allow other users to edit all queries option. Then click on OK and save the report. Whenever the end user access this report, they cannot see edit query option in the report. And the next option, they will ask us to restrict a report for 10,000 records. That time you need to put max rows retrieved. There you need to put a 10,000. If you put 10,000, it will throw in one warning message. What is that warning message? Shiva sir, Shiva or John sir. I put 10,000.
Yeah.
My customer is running a report. Report will display only 10,000, but still it will give a one warning message. What is that warning message?
You have more number of data than the
No, the error name called as the warning message name called as partial results retrieved.
Yeah. Partial results. Correct. That is
The reason is
like a warning
the
message.
query has seen lot of data in the backend, but you are eliminating. You are restricting the query to take only 10,000. That means 10,000 is a partial, not complete.
Yeah, partial. Yes, now I got to know what is the error that I'm getting every time.
Exactly. Max rows retrieved. If you put 10,000, that time will get a partial. Or max retrieval time if you put 1 minute. But still query is taking 3 minutes to take all data. But you are controlling a query for 1 minute. The query can take only partial result from the data. That time also will get a partial result.
Okay, got it.
Okay, these all you can put in the limits. And the next, if you want to change the order of the prompt, you cannot change by using swiping. You need to go to query properties. There you need to change the order of the prompt text message. so that whatever the order you put in the query properties, the query will ask that order for the end user. And this we'll talk later, don't worry. Context we'll talk later. I talked about all this. If they requested to eliminate the duplicate rows, please disable the retrieve duplicate rows option. That we discussed. Now, in the report side, we talked about, in the prompt side, we talked about, you can make two kind of filters in the query. One is static, second one is dynamic. When you make a prompt as a dynamic, that time it will add a prompt properties. Here you can see the question mark, this we call as a prompt properties. In the prompt properties, when you select prompt with the list of values, that time prompt will display with the list. If you don't want to display list, that time please disable this. If you want to make a prompt as an optional prompt, when you make a prompt as an optional prompt, when the end user run a report, they can run a report for particular value, or they can run a report without passing a value. If they are running without passing any value, that time report will run for all values. That is optional. If they want to run for particular values, they can submit particular values and they can run a report. Both options you gave. But if you disable this, that time the prompt is a mandatory prompt. If they run a query, they need to submit any one value for running a report. That is a mandatory prompt. Keep last value selected means I am running a report now. I submitted 2005. Next time when I run a request, by default 2005 is selected. If you don't want to see, I want to show, keep selected last value. If you run a query, earlier in the previous run you run 2005, that's why still it is selected. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to select this, that time what you need to do is, go to edit, in the prompt properties, you disable this, keep list last value selected, run query. Whatever the last value you selected, that is not kept in the right side. Now you need to select particular value, then run. But if you put keep last value selected, whatever the value selected in the previous run, it will be selected by default. That we discussed. And again in the report level, we talked about black level filter and the global filter. Black level means it will replicate only for one black. Global filter means it replicates for both the blacks. If you want to create any filters, you need to go to analysis. There you have a filter. Just click on filter. When you click on filter, now I have only one black, so that's why it will displaying only black one. And if you want to run a report for in list, or you need to click on add filter. There you have a year. Select the particular year. Here now you are creating the two filters. One is for sales revenue, second one is per year. I want to select only year. That time year in list. Why displaying only 2004? Why not 2005, 2006? See what's up. Hello? Why it is giving list only 2004? Why not 5, 6? The reason is in the query level you filter out only for 2004. How come you see all the values in the report level? The reason is when you see while running a report, let me close this. While running a report, you run a report only for 2004. Again, how come you see 2005, 2006 in the report level? Now you have only one option. You can filter out the data only for the quarters, but not for 5 and 6, because 5 and 6 are already eliminated while running a query. The query is fetched only 2004 data from the database, because that filter you applied in the query level. Now when you go to filter, add filter, if you want to make a filter on quarter, please take a quarter. If you select Q1, then click on OK. Report will display only for Q1 data, quarter 1 data. This is a way you can make a filter, black level filter. If you want to make same filter for all the blacks, then you can apply report 1. Filter on report 1, it will replicate for all the blacks there in the report. This is a way you can create your reports. Later, when you click save, it will save in the local, means in the user docs folder in the local. Then you can publish. When you publish, it will publish in the server. People can access from information. Sorry, BI Launchpad.
Murli, I got stuck up here because the what do you call there was a fluctuation in my line, so I would request you to repeat it again if you don't mind.
What do you want? Oh, repeat.
No, this report level filter and block level filter. How do you do a report level filter?
Let me show. I want to create a new report. I'm creating
There is
a new
another one
report.
called filter bar. What is that?
I'll show you. Click on OK. Now I'm creating a report with the year wise, quarter wise, sales revenue. Run the query. Now report will display only one black color as the all years, all quarters and sales revenue.
Correct.
And if you want to make the same black, you need to go to report elements. There you have a black. Select the required black. Yes, I selected the required black. Drag and drop here. Drag and drop here. Drag and drop quarter. Sorry, let me drag and drop quarter also. Control Z. Let me drag and drop here. You just need to click replace. Replace. It will replace. Quarter. You need to drag and drop into here. I just drag and drop quarter. I drag and drop a sales revenue. Now we have a two blacks. Black one is year, comma, quarter, comma, sales revenue. Black two also year, comma, quarter, comma, sales revenue. If you want to apply filter only for black one, you need to go to analysis. There you have a filter. When you click filter, you have a black one, black two. If you want to apply only for black one, select black one, add filter, then select particular year, click on OK, and 2004, 2005. When you select 2004, 2005, click on OK. This time black one will filter out for 2004. Black 2 is displaying for all years. When you see black 2, it is displaying 2004, 2005, 2006 data. If you want to remove that particular filter, again go to this particular. Otherwise, you have a black one, right? You applied the filter on black one. Remove that particular filter. This time, it will display both the blacks for both the. Let me click refresh. I think still the filter is exist in black one. You remove the filter. Just remove the filter. Then in the below, you need to apply. Click on OK. It will display all data. All data. Now, if you want to filter out for both the blacks at a time, that time what you need to do is, you need to go to filter pane, then select report 1, not black 1, black 2, report 1. Here you need to select report 1, add filter, on here, if you select 4, 5, then apply, click on apply, click on OK. This time both the blacks will be filtered out for 4, 5. This is a global filter. Agree? Are you clear now, Shiva sir?
Sir, yes sir.
Now you're clear, right? Either you want, you can apply black 1. Either you want, you can apply for black 2. Now I want to filter out Q1, Q2. I want to see in the second black only quarter 1, quarter 2. But in the first black I want to see all quarters. Then tell me how you create.
I didn't follow your question. First
black I want to show all quarters.
Okay.
Second black I want to show only Q1, Q2 data.
Yeah, then we have to use the filters.
Go to filters and what you need to select? Black 2.
Block 2, add filter for quarter. Say OK.
Q1 only
Q2. Say OK.
Then apply.
Apply and OK.
Click on OK. Then it will display only quarter 1, quarter 2 data for black 2. But black 1 it displays all the data.
Correct.
The next filter bar means this filter bar is basically for drills. We'll add a drill filter bar. This is for drill filters, okay?
Okay.
That will
Okay.
up to now clear?
Yeah.
Tell me what I discussed today. What we discussed today?
You're talking about you want me to tell or whom?
Yeah, please summarize what we discussed today.
See, today what we have done is extracting the data from the universe into Webi. Creating reports, reports based on block levels, that is global levels and block levels with dynamic, static and dynamic values. In block level, you can also have you can filter, as well as in the report level you can filter.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
you have taught about the prompts, the static prompts and the dynamic prompts.
Okay. Let me summarize. Let me summarize what we discussed.
Yeah.
Today we discussed about how to create a report on top of universe with the multiple queries, with the multiple blocks, multiple tabs. I hope you know. If you want to create a report in the developer mission, you need a rich client. Once you have a rich client, connect with the rich client with your username and password and enter your server name, so that if you entered a server name as a dev server, you can see all the universes there in the dev server. Then select particular universe. When you select particular universe, it will take you into the query panel. In the query panel, you need to create a query. If you want to make a query, you need to drag and drop objects from classes and objects to result objects pane and query filters pane. When you drag and drop objects into result objects pane, it will write a select class. When you drag and drop objects into query filters pane, it will write a where class. In query filters, you can write two kind of filters, static and dynamic. Static means you need to select operator, then type a operand as a constant. If you select year, operator is equal to, constant is 2004. That time, whenever you run a query always run for 2004. In the report, you can see only 2004 data. You can make dynamic filter also. That is a case year equal to, in place of constant, in the operand side means in the value side, you need to select prompt. When you select prompt, when you run a query, and the runtime, it will ask you to submit an input. When you submit 2004-2005, report will run for 2004-2005. And user also, they can click refresh in the BI Launchpad and they can submit whatever the value they required on demand. The report will run for that value. That is a dynamic prompt that we discussed. And then once you are there in the report level, if you want to add one more block for the same report, you need to go to data access. There you have a new data provider, and from universe, this time it will again take you into the universe pane. There you have a lot of universes. Select the required universe. You can select a new universe or maybe same universe, and you can build a second query, state comma city comma some values, whatever the based on your requirement. Run query. It will create a one more block in the same tab. But my customer is asking to create a new block on the new tab. That time, please don't go to new data provider. You need to go to edit. When you go to edit, there you have an add query. Click on add query. There you can select the required data source. Now I'm selecting again universe. If you want, you can select the same universe as a source, or you can select a new universe as a source. Click on select and build your required query with the drag and drops. Run a query. This time it will give you an option for us. 3 options based on your required option. If you want to insert a new tab in the new table, please select the first option. That time it will create a one more tab in the new. Let me take this is up. See, it created one more tab here. In the one more tab, it created the new table. There's a way you can add a multiple blocks in the same tab, or multiple tabs and multiple blocks. If you want to add a multiple tab, if you want to add a new tab and the new block in the new tab, that time please don't go for new data provider. You need to go to edit option. add query option that we discussed. We discussed about query level filters, and we discussed about how to make a multiple tabs, multiple blocks, and again we talked about block level filter and the report level filter in the report side. And as well as we talked about query properties, how to restrict a report for 5,000 records or 10,000 records by using maximum rows retrieved option, and we discussed about how to disable edit option for the end user, and we discussed about how to eliminate a duplicate rows, and we discussed about how to change the order of the prompt message on runtime in the query properties. This all we discussed. Again, in the prompt side, we discussed about optional prompt, default prompt, prompt without list of values, prompt without text box. That all we discussed today. I hope you are comfortable, and there is no difference between R3 and R4 till now. Only one difference is the report will support for multiple data sources in R4. In R3, it supports only for one data source.
Only
Chansar,
one,
are you there?
one question.
Only two data sources. Sorry, please.
One question. You asked me a question that absolute value.
Yes.
How do you do that in this?
Absolute, you need to go to functions. Here you have a functions. There you have a lot of functions. Then check your absolute. Somewhere you have absolute function.
OB, it should be in O.
I think O, right? It will start with O. Check for O. I think O or absolute. A.
It's absolute. A. It's not there.
I think
Absolute
it's
is not
A.
here.
Yeah, this is right.
ABS. Yeah, ABS.
I think ABS.
Yes,
You need to put ABS.
Yeah.
Absolute ABS of number, then it will give all are positive.
No, but you said that you have to have a sum of all the absolute value. You have to create a variable, right, for that?
Exactly, you need to create a variable. That we'll discuss, don't worry, in the formulas, okay?
Oh, okay.
ABS of
Discount, yeah.
this time it will negatives all it will convert as a positives.
Yeah, correct. Hello?
Okay, any doubts?
Yep.
John sir, you have any doubts? John sir, are you there or sleeping? Are you sleeping?
No doubt, sir.
No, no doubts. Are you sleeping?
No.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm just kidding. Sorry. You have any doubts? Please, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Others close today and meet you tomorrow. I think tomorrow you're compatible, right? With all the concepts. Okay, please, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Or if you don't have any doubts, you close today and meet you tomorrow at sharp 5 o'clock. Please connect 5 o'clock. I'm sorry for the last couple of days because I'm not feeling well. I have a lot of health issues. Now I recovered. Hopefully we'll finish within a couple of days. Bye bye. Then we'll move to Excelsius and Crystal. Any doubts?
Nothing from my side. Tomorrow, as I
Please,
said,
if you have
I'll
any
get
doubts,
you the
please type.
data.
Sorry.
Tomorrow I'll show you the data that I have done. I have done it in Webi.
Sure, please take a. If you have any.
I'll put it in
please.
Excel sheet and bring it as it is.
Sure, please take whatever the data you have and take a draft version of the report so that we can create a report. Okay. Okay. Thanks for your time. Meet you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye.
The organizer has ended the session and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.